Today we look at a ride to the top of Pikes Peak as being extremely difficult. I can imagine it to some, it would have been an impossible task. But William Perkins and his brother seem to have done it. They've got some wonderful shots from them on their way up. Must have been a beautiful sight at the time. Unpaved roads all the way up, probably just graded for horse and buggy. They've got some wonderful shots at the top of Pikes Peak. If you were going to ride to the top of a mountain, you'd want your gear ratio to be as low as you could get it. So by putting a smaller chain ring up front, that would give him the climbing ability to get to the top of the mountain. When you're coming down the mountain, you wouldn't need the large chain ring because most of the time you'd be coasting. You just need to rely on your brakes. William Perkins had a hard tire safety bike, which would have been a bike with nothing more than a hard rubber hose wrapped around a steel rim. Without the comfort of the air suspension that we have provided by our pneumatic tires, it didn't have the cantilever type brakes that we had. It would have had spoon type brakes that rubbed on a tire. You'd have to ride down the hill very carefully so that you didn't break your equipment or wear out your brakes. We can see by some of the photos that we have that one of the gentlemen did manage to break his bike going down the hill, broke the fork right off his Victor bicycle. On the bottom of the photograph, there's a little bit of writing that says Vulcan adopting a clothes wringer, and that's a comment on his broken bike. I'm sure a ride to the top of Pikes Peak would have put it to the test, or at least coming back down from Pikes Peak would have put it to the test. So it shows it was a tough journey, not only up to the top of Pikes Peak, but also down, much like mountain biking is today.
This is a Victor made by the Overman Wheel Company. This is a very good example of the bicycle that W.E. Perkins would have ridden to the top of Pikes Peak. It's a classic example of a hard-tired safety. This one happens to be cushion. This is very typical of the first transitional bikes from the high-wheeler. If you notice the frame and the wheel size, they're 30-inch wheels. Some of them are 32. The brakes are spoon brakes, same as the old high wheel or ordinaries. You can look at the rods on the brakes, what they call rod brakes, the large handles. They were sort of effective in stopping the bicycle, but not really very effective. If you notice the grips, they were formed of what they call ebonite. It's very similar to a composition of a billiard ball. If you notice the seat, this is very typical of the high wheel seats of the era. They hadn't changed yet to the later type safety bike seats, which were simpler. They were precise on their threading and spoking and so forth. The hubs were very finely machined. Most everything was machined on this bicycle instead of being forged. And the adjustable crankset, very, very nicely done. Precise adjustment for tightening the chain. This is direct drive, so the pedals at high speed would continue to rotate. As you were coasting, you had to get your feet off the pedals or you'd get beaten, so you rest them on the front foot pegs.